one of their own to serve as class speaker. I have the pleasure of introducing this year's student speaker, Kevin Beals. Kevin graduated from the University of Washington, where he majored in English with an emphasis in creative writing. Like many of our students, Kevin took a circuitous route to law school. After receiving his undergraduate degree, he worked in warehouse logistics and marine electronics inventory management, and was a warehouse technician in the electronics waste management and recycling business. It was this latter position that drove Kevin's desire to go to law school. At the law school, Kevin participated in mock trial competitions and the Thomas Tang Moot Court competition, where he was in-house champion and regional semifinalist. Kevin has also been very active outside of the classroom. This semester, he externed with the King County Department of Public Defense Felony Unit. He also interned with the Seattle Community Law Center and worked with both the International Human Rights Law Clinic and the King County Bar Association Neighborhood Legal Clinic. He volunteers with the Seattle University Youth Initiative's Neighborhood House Citizenship Project and with the Northwest Immigrants' Right Project. Since beginning law school, he has completed over 100 hours of pro bono legal work. It is no wonder that his classmates chose Kevin to speak to you today. He exemplifies the best that the law school has to offer, a student engaged in the life of the law school and the wider legal community. One of his classmates remarked that he is a memorable and positive presence in our class. It is my great pleasure to invite Kevin Beals to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2015.
Good morning, class of 2015. We finally made it. Welcome to the 2015 3L final exams. You should find a multiple choice answer sheet underneath each of your seats, along with your exam booklet and a number 2 pencil. Just kidding. Just want to make sure that you're all awake. How do you feel this morning? That's a little more like it. No more exams. Well, mostly. Graduates of the Seattle University School of Law class of 2015, congratulations. Each and every one of you has pushed through one of the most challenging and rigorous journeys of your lifetime. You've crammed, you've sweated, you've debated, and you've typed until you've gone cross-eyed. It appears that some of you may have even taken up permanent residence in the library. I have no doubt that many great things are in store for all of you. Nevertheless, none of us here arrived today alone. No graduation speech would be complete without mentioning all the people in your lives that got you to where you are today. Parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, romantic partners, dogs, cats, ferrets, not necessarily in that order. Your support, encouragement, and your love have brought us to this moment, and we all owe you an endless debt of gratitude. You loaned your cherished ones to a higher calling. Graduates, give your family and friends a round of applause. As I've been contemplating what to say to all of you today, at first I wondered, what is everyone thinking? After 3 years of bad jokes and relentlessly talking your ears off, why on earth would you want me up here to speak to you during our last meeting as law students? Whatever the reason, it is truly an honor to speak on behalf of my peers about our experience as law students and where we go from here. You have all inspired me. Thank you. In exchange, I promise that unlike my usual tendency to be long-winded, I will keep this speech brief. No pun intended. In the 3 short years that you've spent here at Seattle University School of Law, I'm sure you've noticed some changes in yourselves, because if nothing else, law school changes you. If it hasn't yet, get out now while you still can. The changes I'm talking about should be familiar to all of you by now. Before law school, you just clicked past all those pesky terms and agreements on websites before purchasing something you didn't need or signed up for something you'd forget later on. Now, stop for a second. Think carefully about the words of caution offered by your contracts professor, and then feel guilty because you still didn't read that agreement before clicking past it. Before law school, you probably had a normal, perhaps even interesting social life. Now your friends might think you must be doing something really exciting because you're inexplicably busy all the time. If only they knew. Before law school, you probably thought a mill shaft was just a mill shaft, but now you'll never be able to look at one the same again. If you don't know what that means, ask a law student. Groucho Marx once said, this isn't a particularly novel observation, but the world is full of people who think they can manipulate the lives of others merely by getting a law passed. All sarcasm aside, he has a point. While passing a law can't always be expected to solve the problems of the world, those who work within the law every day have a rare opportunity to change that world. If you doubt me, take a look around. You've already done it. You help protect the most poor and vulnerable members of society and find the services they need to survive. You fought predatory lending and helped those facing foreclosure stay in their homes. You helped small business owners realize their dreams. You help victims of domestic violence through the most challenging times of their lives. You help veterans get the medical and mental health care they deserve. You helped stop child abuse and got children back to a sense of normalcy. And let's not forget, you helped us with our taxes. I know I'm not capable of doing my own taxes. This year alone, 274 students participated in the Pro Bono Pledge and recorded over 16,200 collective hours of legal pro bono and community volunteer work in partnership with over 170 legal offices, law clinics, government agencies, nonprofits, and student organizations. 78 December 2014 and May 2015 graduates met or exceeded the Pro Bono Pledge goals for the year. Now, I may be terrible at math, but those are some pretty impressive numbers. This day represents just the beginning for all of us, and many more exciting things to come. Thankfully, this isn't the beginning of my speech, which should be just about reaching the halfway point for those of you keeping track. For those of you who have already found jobs, congratulations. For those of you who are still searching, like me, don't worry, I hear the chieftain is hiring right now. No, I have full confidence that each and every one of you will find meaningful, good jobs, because I know there's something different about a Seattle University graduate that sets us apart from other schools. It's not our Jesuit education and tradition of open inquiry. While these are certainly excellent traits, there are plenty of fine Jesuit institutions around the country. It's not the number of students graduating with multiple degrees, because every law school in the country is full of overachievers. It's not the number of you who have already demonstrated your excellent advocacy skills and dedication to detail, because that's what got you to this moment in the first place. It's not even the fact that, let's face it, we're all nerds. Just saying. No, what really sets our school and its graduate apart is one of the most important traits unique to being human: compassion. Other animals share many traits in common with us, but they aren't the ones that make us unique. Birds use tools. Termites build cities. Monkeys make war. Dogs ride skateboards. Okay, maybe I'm stretching the metaphor a bit. The point is that many of the things we think make us really special aren't. Compassion isn't just a word we pay lip service to. It guides our every action just as the earth revolves around the sun. Compassion allows us to look at one another with open eyes and see each other just as we are, flaws and all. Before you criticize someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, by the time you criticize them, you're a mile away and you have their shoes. Compassion isn't an abstract notion. It is a bridge between worlds. It is essential to becoming good counselors and advocates for others. Compassion is indispensable for developing cooperative networks of people all working together towards a common cause. It will inform the way you talk to others, the way you will listen. It will inform the way you look at your clients, your colleagues, and yes, even your opponents. Take pride in the accomplishments of your peers. Most importantly, and perhaps counterintuitively, compassion cannot be taught. You may not have learned compassion in a classroom, but it is demonstrated through your actions. You've all demonstrated that you have a tremendous capacity for compassion. The law isn't exactly well known for its compassion, so don't lose sight of this. What will really set you apart in every way is your ability to connect to and have compassion for your fellow human being. Think about the title you're receiving today, Juris Doctor. Even if you may not be the best person to perform a root canal or a triple bypass heart surgery, that doesn't mean you don't have the same responsibility as someone who does. One day, much like a doctor, you may literally have your client's life in your hands. Take that responsibility as a great honor and take joy in what you do, because you can do great things. When someone is injured, you can make them whole. When When someone's life is destroyed by another's vile acts, you can help create a measure of justice. When someone is wrongfully accused, you can help clear their name and set them free. When a child is sickened by the food they thought was safe, you can make those responsible accountable for that child's health. If you ever feel sorry for yourself, think carefully about the lives of your clients, because you have a great privilege that many will never be able to achieve. If you're ever feeling stuck, think about what my supervisor told me. Don't get stuck in one way of doing things. If you're having trouble getting across an icy pond on roller skates, try ice skates next time. That reminds me of another thing Groucho Marx said. If you find it hard to laugh at yourself, I would be happy to do it for you. The work we do is often a heavy enough task on its own, so take your work seriously, but yourself not at all. What will truly set you apart from others is not your ability to best your opponent, rather to extend a hand to someone across the aisle. You never know when you may need that hand yourself, so don't take things personally. Remember that whole look left, look right thing from 1L orientation? It's true. The people sitting around you are your colleagues, and your new careers begin today. If you haven't learned it yet already, you'll soon find that you can get a lot more done if you can set aside your differences and work together cooperatively and supportively. I mean, have you ever seen two people arguing while trying to ride a tandem bicycle? Keep in touch with your classmates, professors, friends, and families, because you never know when you might need each other down the road. Make that phone call, write that email. I may be a little biased in this department, but I'd recommend writing a letter by hand. Hey, don't knock it until you try it. I'd like to wrap up with some quotes from Master Yoda. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. In a dark place we find ourselves, and a little more knowledge lights our way. Always pass on what you have learned. That brings me to my last point. I've been remiss in thanking some of the most important people who made this day possible. Our professors, the faculty, and all the wonderful staff at the Seattle University School of Law. We simply wouldn't have a law school without you. Let's all give them a round of applause. Speaking of our faculty members, it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our next speaker. Perhaps the only outstanding faculty member who would rather be outstanding in a field working on a farm, Professor Sidney DeLong will need no introduction for many of you. Two-time winner of the William C. Oltman Professor of Teaching Excellence Award, Professor DeLong has an unmistakably unique teaching style, combining both wit and humor. It's a rare professor that can actually make you laugh during a final exam. And for those of you who had Professor DeLong for contracts during 1L year, you undoubtedly remember his zany hypotheticals involving mishaps with chainsaws, destroyed doghouses, and spurned entrepreneurs speaking bad French. Professor DeLong has been previously awarded the Outstanding Faculty Member Award 3 times, so if you count this award, he technically has a better record than the New England Patriots. Technically. Hey, at least we know he's the real deal. Sorry, Patriots fans. Well, without further ado, Professor Sidney DeLong.